What's up, all Do I Want to Know fans? We got a special edition, special episode today. This is Do I Want to Know presents The Greatest. Now, The Greatest is a series that we're going to be starting on this channel, and it's going to document the greatest in everything. You want the greatest athletes, the greatest movies, the greatest songs, the greatest artists? We got you covered with Marc and Frank the Tank Iantorno. Frankie, what's going on, my brother?
What's up, guys? I'm hyped to be here. This is going to be big. I sense big things coming from this episode.
I'm telling you. And now many people are like, where the hell's Mitch? The guy that usually is running the show. He's getting his 8-pack in. He's doing his own thing right now. He's at work, obviously. He's going to get mad at me if I say he's doing something else. But he's at work. And this week, we didn't really have a guest this week, right, Frankie?
Yeah, no, we thought that, we'll keep it in the house this week.
Exactly. Keep it in house. And what's more engaging and more interesting than trying to figure out the greatest of all time? And we got a great show for you today. We are going to do, since a lot of people, I've been actually talking to a lot of people. I was at a bar watching the Euros and showing people my podcast. They're like, what do you really like to do? What's your main thing? What's your go-to? And I was trying to think, what is my go-to? Sports I'm good at, movies, some betting. But if I'm really being honest, I was known as the movie guy, and this is going to be the definitive list. There has been much debate as to my lists, but I've never done a full top 10, and who better do it than Frankie Iantorno? He knows just about as many movies as me.
I don't know about that. I'll tell you, I consider myself a guy that knows a lot about movies, but Marc's on a different level. I've seen Marc in action. He's on a different level. So you got to give the guy some credit.
You got to go movie release dates, anything, trivia. I'm all out there. But we were thinking we could easily do a top 10 list and we go 10, 10, 9, 9, but that wouldn't be fun for the audience, wouldn't be interactive. So I went to the AFI, that's the American Film Institute, and they have a top 10 genres of all time. Now, Frankie, you saw a couple of the genres here. We're not talking about Westerns anymore, eh?
No, these are some big ones. These are some big ones. This is going to be good, okay? Because there's a lot of movies that we were debating over in these genres. So I'm excited to show off my list.
So we have 10 genres. I'm going to list the genre. Me and Frankie we have our picks already. We have our picks are in. We're submitted. We're ready to go. And I'm just going to say the genre. We're going to give some honorable mentions, some nice films that are in that genre. Then we're going to give our thing. It's not going to be too long, guys. We're going to want you here short and sweet. But let's go. Do I want to know the greatest? And let's start her off. We're going to start off in the genre of animated films. And animated films, when I was looking at this, Frankie, there's a lot of good ones to choose from, eh?
There is.
So
there definitely is.
Here's just a few that I pulled off. One of my favorites, that Mitch, and a little Do I Want to Know history, Polar Express, Toy Story, Your Name, Wreck-It Ralph, The Iron Giant. These are all classic ones. Which one stands out from you from that list right there, Frankie?
Toy Story for sure out of that list. I'm not huge on Polar Express, not gonna lie. That was for the Christmas episode, the Christmas special. I already gave my thoughts on Polar Express. Toy Story is definitely one that's up there. That's classic.
And I think what Toy Story really did well and why a lot of people choose it is because 95, Pixar just coming to be really. Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, animation was becoming a new thing. And you can see right now, I seen a preview for Luca. Looks real life, man.
looks like they got a real Italian kid in there.
Yeah, it looks like they got a real life Italian kid, made him an octopus. What's going on? But those are just some sort of animated films that we're going to go with. But Frankie, I'll start with you. Best animated film of all time. Let me hear it.
So this was a hard one because there's a lot of movies from my childhood that I thought back on, but I decided to go with a recent one. And I think that animation has really evolved, and I think the greatest animated movie of all time is Into the Spider-Verse. The way they filmed it, the soundtrack, the overall story, it is one of my favorite movies. And when I watched the movie in the theaters, I came into it with no expectations. I had no idea what I was watching, and it blew me away. And I think that is the greatest animated movie of all time.
I gotta admit, Into the Spider-Verse, like what they did with that with Miles Morales, the character, the whole uncle thing, like that was no spoiler alert, that was a crazy storyline in it. And you could just see they had so much fun making that movie. And it really, if you're looking at best animated film of all time, probably some of the best animation ever.
Definitely.
Like really good. And yeah, so Frankie's going with the Spider-Verse. Marc Vicioso, I'm going to be going with Shrek. Now,
Classic.
Shrek, you can't go wrong with Shrek. Let me tell you why. A little throw in from Instagram. Let me tell you why. Shrek is one of those films that you watch and you know you're just watching something that's taken from right from the year it was taken. 2001. It has 2001 written all over it. You have Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz. Like that combination, that's probably some of the best ensemble work I've ever seen in an animated film. And just how long it's lasted throughout the years. So the next genre we have here, Frankie, you know what it is?
Are we going with a little action? If we're going alphabetical here, sticking with the A's.
You got it. Action movies. Now, let's see on this list, what we have here? Some of the honorable mentions on it. We have Rambo, Sylvester Stallone, really classic movie. Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Always, if you're watching that 12 a.m. with a beer, you're going good. And Heat, also one that I put onto here. Al Pacino, 1995, Robert De Niro, iconic diner scene. But Frankie, action movie, best of all time. Let me hear it.
Now, there are some great action movies, but as a guy that's watching a movie, there's not one movie that says action better than John Wick. John Wick is a definition of an awesome action movie. I'm talking about the original because it has an amazing story. See, action movies, they sometimes fail to have a good story and just focus on the action. John Wick has some awesome writing, has some awesome dialogue, has some awesome scenes. And I think that's why I have John Wick as the greatest action movie.
So what's a scene that stands out in John Wick? If you want to go play it back for the audience, you haven't watched John Wick at home, what's a scene that stands out?
Okay, my favorite scene from this movie is when so it's after all this stuff happens. There's maybe 15 guys in John Wick's house attacking him. He kills all of them, and you just see the cops come knocking on the door. John Wick opens the door. The cops oh, hey, how's it going? He looks behind them, sees 15 dead bodies all stacked. He's like, oh, back to work, aren't you, John? And he's like, yeah, just for a little bit. And then close the door and the cops just walk away. Everyone knows John Wick's about it. That is an iconic scene. That perfectly describes John Wick for you.
Yeah, and it perfectly describes Keanu Reeves, real legend.
Definitely.
Speed, a lot. Keanu Reeves is one of those action stars that
Canadian
too.
Canadian.
Exactly.
Gotta love it.
So you got that film over there, John Wick. What am I going with? Come on, baby. Die Hard.
Classic.
Die Hard. Every single day of the week. Now, if this was my top 10 all time, this is competing for number one spot, Frankie. It's serious. Now, Die Hard, released in 1988, directed by John McTiernan. You have Bruce Willis. You have, in one of probably his most iconic role.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely his most iconic role, John McClane, and the late, great Alan Rickman playing, oh my God, Hans Gruber. Now this, if we were doing a top 5 villains of all time, he's definitely getting in there. And even in the other franchises, his brother in Die Hard with a Vengeance, Die Hard 2 was even a good film, but Die Hard, it's a Christmas film as well. Got to get that in there. Some of the scenes, iconic. Hans, Bobby, him up there, Yippee-ki-yay, mother. You know what it is. Die Hard, you look at all-time classic, you got to watch that movie.
Definitely the most iconic action movie, I think. I think between Die Hard and Rambo are the two most iconic action movies, if you're going just off iconic.
Yeah, and Rambo, for sure, with Stallone, in the 70s, that was some brutal action, brutal stuff. And even did you watch the last Rambo that came out with Stallone at the end?
I have not, but I heard it was actually surprisingly really good.
Surprisingly, he was in the Mexico. There's a scene right now that me and my friends, if my friend's watching this, he'll love it. It's Stallone. He's in a bar, and he's in a Mexican bar. They just kidnapped his daughter, actually. His daughter, but hadn't seen her in a while. And he's staring at these Mexican guys in a club. And he doesn't care, man. He does not care. He's just standing there like this. And it's pure Stallone, pure action. So we got animated. We got action. The next genre we got up is fantasy. Now, fantasy has a lot of different realms, different type of stuff to it. Frankie, I'm going to go first here, so, sort of switch up that.
All right, so we'll switch it up. Marc,
Yes.
What do you think is the greatest fantasy movie of all time? Let's hear it.
Now, it's tough here because I know which one you're going to go with. I know what you're going to go with. Just instinctively, I know. But if I'm going to be honest, one of the best movie theater experiences I ever had, and one of the best films, even made me cry, Blade Runner 2049. Now, this film, Denis Villeneuve, amazing director, by the way. He did Arrival. He did Sicario. He is one of the best directors in the game right now. And Blade Runner 2049 proved that. Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford. I think those two guys, whenever you watch a Ryan Gosling or Harrison Ford movie, you know what you're getting, right, Frankie? Like Ryan Gosling, he never misses. Notebook, Drive, Crazy Stupid Love. I could go on and on.
Remember the Titans? Underrated Ryan Gosling movie. People don't realize he's in that.
Exactly. People forget. What was it? Was he Sunshine?
What's his name? He was the absolute liability on defense. He was like the safety that was just trash.
I'm telling you, bro. But Blade Runner 2049, the story here. We even get a Dave Bautista sighting in this, man. Like the story coming together, the if you're human, are you not human? What makes you human? That's a great story to hear. And in a fantasy realm, you want to connect it because you could be doing 5,000 battles, nether realms, different this. But what makes you care is the human characters. And that's what this film really does well. And I really enjoy it. So Blade Runner 2049 for me. Frankie, what do you got?
Well, okay. For fantasy, there's 3 movies, 1 series. Take your pick. They're all amazing. They're all so epic. They're awesome. Okay. The Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm not including the Hobbits in this. The 3 original Lord of the Rings. I'm going to go 2 Towers just because just a personal favorite, but any Lord of the Rings, you can't go wrong. It defines fantasy. They're long. You have to be willing to sit through them, and you have to watch the extended edition. Lord of the Rings is the greatest fantasy movie of all time. No debate, in my opinion. No debate.
And I can't even disagree there. Lord of the Rings, iconic stuff. Peter Jackson made you enter that universe, and Middle Earth. They even said, I heard that they may have a new series coming out with Lord of the Rings too. So that'll be definitely interesting to watch.
It's the most expensive series of all time so far. It's like doubling Game of Thrones budget or something. So it's going to be insane. You just know it is.
Insanity. Well, we got 3 down, 7 more to go. Let's go here. This one you're going to love. Gangster films.
Classic. Some of my favorite.
You might as well just call this Scorsese's category, eh?
Definitely.
Some ones that I found when I was looking and trying to decipher what mine was. We had I don't want to spoil there. We had Casino, Goodfellas. What's another one that we had here? We had if you want to go gangster, Boys in the Hood. Depends what you're gonna call a gangster film. But what I went with for my favorite gangster film of all time, I'm probably gonna add one of the posters next to this one. Probably it's gonna be the last time just seeing Rocky. Scarface.
Legendary movie.
Now, if you haven't watched Scarface, pause the video, go home, watch Scarface, come back, and then you tell me what you think of that film. And if you don't tell me that's a 10 out of 10, then there's something wrong with you. Al Pacino delivers. I know he was great in Godfather. I know he was great as Jimmy Hoffa. He has a lot of good performances. But Scarface, this guy turns into something else, man. He's a Cuban immigrant, and he loves life, man.
He loves life, and he loves cocaine. Another thing he loves.
And Brian De Palma, that guy is an amazing director. Pure 80s, pure machismo, guns, drugs, sex, anything you want in a type of gangster movie. That's what it gives you, and it delivers 10 out of 10, 100%. Frankie, what do you got?
Well, look. I agree. Scarface is an amazing movie, an amazing gangster movie. But there is one movie that I have to put ahead of it, and it is Al Pacino's other movie before that, and that is the original Godfather, The Godfather Part 1. Because I'll tell you why. The Godfather is more than just a gangster movie. Yeah, it's about the guns and the violence and all that stuff, but it's about family, It's well written. It's more of a drama. And I think that's why I have to put The Godfather. I think it's the greatest movie of all time. And that's why I'm putting it
And
ahead of
iconic
Scarface.
Iconic. Look at that.
Iconic.
That's a new one. That's a new one. But scenes that you're going to remember. Horse in the bed. I'm going to make an offer you can't refuse. When they're doing the deal in Vegas with Mike Green.
Mo Green.
Mo Green. Yes, exactly.
Leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Yeah, him dying in the Vito dying in the vineyard. So many. What is it? Oh my God, what's her name? The Italian girl. She dies.
Apollonia
getting murdered.
Yeah, just
car bomb.
Blown up.
You could go and just say scenes and you remember, and that's what makes it so good and iconic. And if you're looking at best gangster movie, I gotta even give it to Godfather over Scarface.
Both 3-hour movies, both long movies. They're both an investment, but I think The Godfather. You need to watch it in a specific state though. You can't just casually watch it. You need to watch it, pay attention, focus, and be ready for 3 hours.
Yeah, but then you can maybe watch Godfather 2 as well, maybe after. But Godfather 3, we leave it behind, right?
You know what? It's not great. Definitely not great. But I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. I'll give it a little bit of a break. It's not great.
It's not as bad as some of the movies we've been seeing lately with these films. Definitely. You still have Coppola there, so that's great. So we're halfway through here, and we're going to the next genre, which is science fiction. I'm going to start off here. I know this may be controversial, but my favorite science fiction of all time is Interstellar. Now, Interstellar, 2014 it came out. This was one of the first movies I watched when I was in high school. It was November. I watched this movie by myself the first time. And when I watched this movie in IMAX, I was blown away. Now, people have a lot of complaints about the dialogue. Maybe Nolan's a bit too much exposition, like we've said in past episodes. But this movie pulls on the heartstrings. Matthew McConaughey, great performance. Murph, both sides, young Murph and old Murph. I think it's Jessica Chastain plays the older Murph. Amazing. Casey Affleck. So many iconic scenes. And what I think is one of the best scenes in this movie is when they go to the first planet and they see the waves coming in. They don't know it's waves. They think it's a freaking mountain. That's waves, motherfucker. They're coming for you, man. And you can just see the whole film going back. They're losing so much time. There's a lot to take in. And Mitch obviously said he couldn't understand it. I thought I could understand it good enough. And what Nolan did in that film, I think nobody's going to match. What do you think, Frankie?
Well, do you think, here's a little follow-up question. Do you think that's Christopher Nolan's best movie? Or do you have anything else ahead of it? I don't know, maybe. I'm a big Dark Knight guy.
If you're looking at his best movie, Dark Knight is definitely up there, but also you have Memento, Inception. But it's from a pure, that's the thing, like Inception, what genre would you put that in?
I don't know where you'd even put it, because I guess it's kind of sci-fi, fantasy,
action. It's a thriller, like you know what I mean?
Adventure.
Yeah, exactly. So
like
in one of these, I feel like Nolan makes genre-bending films sometimes that can sort of even Tenet. Like, what are you gonna call that? Like, there's a lot of different stuff. But I think as his pure science fiction, I think Interstellar is probably his best. But Dark Knight definitely has a big case. Even Memento, maybe. But Frankie, what do you have? Science fiction.
Okay, this is one of my favorite movies of all time, from my favorite series of all time. Give me The Empire Strikes Back. It is one of the most iconic movies of all time. And when you think about it, it introduced Yoda. It was the first time you really see the Emperor. He wasn't big in A New Hope.
Nope.
Those are two iconic characters that are being introduced here. Darth Vader. It has the greatest plot twist in movie history. The greatest. And I just think that it's undefeated. And don't forget, the bad guy wins. How often do you see that in a movie? The bad guy wins.
I tell you, in 1980s, my Nona was watching. Nona, big Star Wars fan from before. People were pissed off in the 80s. 1980, you don't see the bad guy win. And Darth Vader, and they were setting that up. George Lucas, I think he's one of the most genius people alive for creating this whole universe. And Empire Strikes Back is like the pinnacle. I know they say whoever directed it, I don't believe it. Whoever they said directed that movie, George Lucas directed the movie. You know what I mean?
George Lucas created that universe. He knew in A New Hope, in what year was it? 1977 or something?
Yeah.
He was writing about the Clone Wars, something that you won't see until, the early 2000s.
Yeah.
He was already talking about it and writing it. That's how you know this guy had. That's how you create a movie. You create the big picture and then you divide it up into movies, and he did an amazing job of that. And I think Empire Strikes Back is the greatest Star Wars movie, and there's no debate. I don't even want to hear it.
Yeah, I can't agree with you that I can't disagree with you there, Frankie. But next up, where this is going fast now, I'm really enjoying this episode so far. Make sure, middle of the episode, like, comment, subscribe. We save it to the end, we save it to the beginning. But if you're liking what we're talking about here, make sure you do that.
And let us know what you think. If you guys, disagree, you guys agree, let us know.
Yeah, exactly.
We're always interested to hear what you guys think.
Some people think I'm dumb all the time when I say these things, but we just bring it up and we're here to give a platform for our opinions. If you don't like our opinion, by all means, there's a dislike button there. I'm not saying do it.
How about this? You like it, and then you disagree in the comments. You nicely disagree in the comments, but you like it. I don't want to see too many dislikes out there.
I think that's fair. But next up, Frankie, mystery genre. Well, Frankie, what do you have here? It's a mystery. What you have?
So there are some good ones here, and I was debating here. So the first one I thought of was Zodiac. I like that movie a lot, but I said, you know what? There's one movie that really had me guessing, and that was Shutter Island. That's another Scorsese one. That movie, for the first time I watched it, it really had me thinking, and the whole point of the mystery, it intrigued me. I was like, wanted to see what was going to happen next. I didn't know where it was going to go. I had some ideas, but I didn't fully know where it was going to go. And I think that's the beauty of a mystery. And I think mystery is a lost genre now. I don't see too many great mystery movies coming around anymore.
No, and I think from the mystery genre, when you look at Shutter Island, you see, I haven't even seen that twist really done. I don't want to go too much into spoilers. I don't know. But I think that was a sort of more creative twist upon what they were doing. And even a lot of Scorsese ones. Scorsese has a lot of mystery in his films already. And you could see him really relishing that idea there. And it's a Netflix classic, in my opinion, for sure. Every time Definitely. I go on Netflix, Shutter Island's up there. But if I'm going to be honest, really good film there. But I'm going to go with Seven. Seven is iconic. What's in the box? Come on, man. What's in the box? Gwyneth Paltrow's head's in the box. That's what I'm telling you, man.
Guys just going straight for the spoilers.
Yeah.
with Shutter Island, he was walking around. He was like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to give away a spoiler. With Seven, he's like, no, it's her head in the box.
Yeah, bro. Come on, man. Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Kevin Spacey. You can say what you want about the guy. Not a good guy, but he's a good actor, man. He's a good actor.
Shitty guy, but great actor.
Yeah, shitty guy, great actor. And in this film, The Seven Deadly Sins, what a brilliant piece of filmmaking right there. And even from the opening credits, they always talk about it. The opening credits really done well, sets you up. And I think that movie is probably the best mystery of all time.
Definitely up there.
Next up, Frankie, you got to make me laugh here. Comedy. What we got? We have a National Lampoon's Vacation, Groundhog Day. What's going on?
Well, look, I'm a huge comedy guy. I love comedy movies. So there was many.
Comedy, would you say, is your favorite genre?
Probably my favorite genre, because I watch more comedy movies than any other movie. Mm-hmm. So, I'm always down for a good comedy. I'm always down. I love making people laugh. I love laughing. And there are so many I was debating. Adam Sandler has some great ones. Jim Carrey has some great ones. But instead, I went with the one that I don't know if people will expect it, but it's definitely a classic comedy, Superbad. I think it is the funniest movie and has some of the most iconic lines in movie history. Okay, like, come on, McLovin. Everyone knows McLovin. Everyone knows that scene.
I think every person that's been in high school will relate to that movie.
One way or another, everyone relates to that movie, and I think it's so funny. There's some lines that make me laugh that I don't want to say on this show. Let's just say cargo shorts. Whenever I hear someone wearing cargo shorts, I always think of that line from Jonah Hill. It's absolutely classic, and you got to give the nod to Brampton boy Michael Cera. My mom taught him drama a few years before he was on Arrested Development for the city of Brampton. So representing Brandon in this movie. You love to see
and
it.
Seth Rogen, you gotta that was probably Seth Rogen's best movie. With Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, they wrote that when they were teenagers, and amazing stuff that it's even relevant to this day. And even them as a cop with Bill Hader, like so much stuff in that movie that you just don't see nowadays in comedies. I could go into a whole in-depth video essay on why comedies aren't working nowadays. But my favorite comedy of all time. Now this was up for a debate. There were two that were fighting. It was one or the other. But what I went with was The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Classic.
The one it was competing with was This Is the End. But
another funny one.
Really funny, really like not even iconic, really just freaking funny, man. Channing Tatum as a sex dog, Rihanna, Jason Segel, The Exorcism of Jonah Hill. Those are classic. But 40-Year-Old Virgin, let me tell you, Steve Carell's a genius. He's a genius, man. The Office, Crazy Stupid Love, as I mentioned before, one of my favorite films as well. This 40-Year-Old Virgin is probably his best work. Anchorman, 40-Year-Old Virgin. People make fun of virgins all the time, man. Like this wasn't like a new idea. Everybody always had that. They make fun of you if you hadn't had sex before. And 40-Year-Old Virgin put the perfect place where they were like, we're gonna make fun of you, and we're gonna put Steve Carell. Steve Carell, I think, is the perfect casting of all time.
Definitely.
As the 40-Year-Old Virgin. His facial reaction. Seth Rogen's amazing. Paul Rudd, Leslie Mann, so hilarious. Kevin Hart's even in this before he even took off. What this film, and you can say what you want about Judd Apatow. He's one of the best directors, comedy, Knocked Up, funny people, and 40-Year-Old Virgin delivered for me. So that's what I got.
That's a really funny one. And funny story about that movie. Apparently, Ryan Gosling, did he have a small part in that? Ryan Gosling, did he have a small role in that?
40-Year-Old Virgin, I think he may have. And he made a cameo, I think.
So he was on set. This is before he was a big actor. He was on set at least. And he said even days that he wasn't working, he only worked one day for some small part, but he'd show up every day on set just to see Steve Carell work. He said that's how funny he was. He would show up on set every day, even if he wasn't working, just because he wanted to see Steve Carell. And that also led to Crazy Stupid Love, where they were together. And I definitely agree. That is a funny movie.
Also, fun fact, Steve Carell, my dad has served Steve Carell at a restaurant before. My dad used to work at the Intercontinental for TIFF one time. Steve Carell, what did he order when my dad got his order? What did he order? What do you think he ordered? It's just it's something you won't guess.
Okay, because I'm gonna say what he ordered in the office. A little gabagoo.
You got a Dr. Pepper. That's it. A Dr. Pepper. So Steve Carell, if you need a Dr. Pepper, you know where to find me. All right. We got 3 more on this list. And these are really good genres. Some of my favorites right here. We're going to start with horror. Horror, Frankie, what do you got?
Not a huge horror guy. I don't like being scared of things. But I think although this isn't the scariest movie I've seen, I think when it comes to pure greatness, The Exorcist is the greatest horror movie. It's so iconic. It represents what a horror movie is. Like that poster where you see like the priest under the light post, and Reagan, the girl, her screaming Marin. Like, come on now, that's just so iconic.
It started
it's legendary.
The wave of The Exorcist like type of stuff, because I'm pretty sure in 1970s. Before that, it could be considered a crime if you made a movie like The Exorcist. And like
I think it's still banned in like a bunch of countries or something.
Yeah, like serious stuff, because other countries don't mess with the devil or don't mess with exorcisms.
I don't. I don't mess with the devil or exorcisms. I don't even know why I watched that, but I did, and I had to say it was a good movie.
And also, I have to say, this is just a sort of something for the horror genre. Why a lot of these found footage films like Blair Witch or Paranormal Activity may not made the list. Stop shaking the camera, man. Exorcist, beautiful long shots coming at you. The priest coming at you. What is it? Exorcism, even done in it looks good to this day. If you're shaking the camera, doesn't matter. It could be 2100 or 1900. You're not going to see. So that's just a little bit of a thing for me. But for my best horror of all time, a bit of a hybrid genre here, but I'd say Scream is the one that I go back to every Halloween. 1996, Wes Craven, R.I.P., my brother. He did the Nightmare on Elm Streets, but Scream was probably his best. I know it got a bit bad after maybe Scream 3, Screforum, and I heard there's another TV show I haven't watched. But Scream, who did it? The ultimate, who is it? You don't know. Ghostface, I see his masks out there every single year. Sure. Matthew Lillard, he's Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, my guy. Courtney Cox, Drew Barrymore from the beginning scene, probably one of the best opening scenes, right, Frankie?
Definitely. That slasher genre, there's a bunch of classic movies in that. Well, that's the thing about horror. It's a bunch of different genres. You could go with like the serial killer. You could go with like the spiritual stuff. Definitely an interesting genre.
Definitely. But I think those are two good goes. So right now we got two more to come, two more genres, and then we will be making our definitive top 5 greatest list, which will be going up on our Instagram after this episode is released. But for the last two, second last, we're going epic/superhero. Now, epic, for people at home, epic can go over a lot of genres. So me and Frankie Iantorno, we're going the classic epic, could be religious epic, anything, war, and superhero. That goes under epics. Those are usually the longer ones, 3 to 4 hours could be. Frankie, epic, I know you have something good here.
Well, if we're just talking epic, the first movie that popped into my mind was Braveheart. 300 was another one that came up in my mind too. But Braveheart was a classic epic. When you're watching it, you feel like you're about to fight for Scotland.
You're the pride of Scotland there, man.
I'm like, I get into it. Okay. Like I think I'm Scottish when I watch that movie. Like I want to join. I want to fight for Scotland. But if we're going superhero here though, another one. Now I know what people are going to say. Oh, there's better superhero movies, The Dark Knight, Logan. I get it. But if we're talking about what movie I enjoy Thor Ragnarok as a superhero movie more than any other one. It is my favorite superhero movie. End of story.
No, Thor Ragnarok, and definitely you could see Taika Waititi there. He is a great director, man. Like
he really is.
I know we should probably do another hidden gems because that guy comes out with them. Jojo Rabbit, Hunt for the Wilder People, the vampire one. It's blanking on me right now, but he's a brilliant director too to watch out for. But if we're talking epic and we're talking superhero, there's only one answer here.
Let's hear it.
Dark Knight Rises. I don't care. It's better than The Dark Knight.
Wow.
It's
controversial opinion.
You know, full take right here. Dark Knight Rises. Because if you're looking at Dark Knight Rises, it had a lot to look up. It had a lot to live up to after The Dark Knight. 2008, that people said Heath Ledger had the whole thing. Christian Bale, amazing in it. Joker, Batman. You could probably watch that film all day. But The Dark Knight Rises had the most expectations, and it lived up to it. Bane, Tom Hardy, that guy has traps for days.
He does.
He has traps for days. He broke Batman's back, and I believed every single minute of it. And you could look at it. What they did with Catwoman maybe wasn't the best, or Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but pure spectacle, a pure finale, because that's what you want to see. Frankie says Empire Strikes Back. People may say Return of the Jedi. People say Attack of the Clones. People say Revenge of the Sith. People love a finale. People love to see something final. And Dark Knight Rises was, in my opinion, the perfect end to the trilogy. May not make our top 5 greatest, but it's one that I always go back to, 100%.
The ending of that movie I loved with Christian Bale and who plays is Michael Caine. That plays, of course, it's Christopher Nolan. Michael Caine plays Alfred. Awesome ending to that movie. To that franchise, it's a good one, but I don't know. I don't think I could give Dark Knight Rises over The Dark Knight. I think I don't know. It's good, but come on, Dark Knight, classic.
All right. Last genre here, Frankie. Last one of the greatest. And this one, we knew it was coming. We had old. It's called TSB for a reason. We had Do I Want to Know podcast. We also focus on this genre. Sports.
Classic
Frankie,
sport movie.
There's only one answer here.
There's only one correct answer.
If I get an answer that I don't like, you're off the podcast, brother. Get out of here.
Guess what? There is only one correct answer. Maybe 2 if you want to go. You have Rocky 1 and Rocky 2. I'm going Rocky 1. Easily the greatest sport movie of all time. it's so dominant as a sport movie that it feels like you can't even count it anymore. It's like, okay, it's more than just a sport movie. You got to give the other ones, like Remember the Titans and He Got Game a Chance. That's how dominant Rocky is in that genre. The greatest sports movie of all time, bar none.
And I could go into all day, but I'm going to give you why Rocky is the best here. And it's plain and simple. Sylvester Stallone created this movie with nothing. He had nothing in his bank account. He came here, he wrote in 4 days after he watched the George Chuvalo fight. And he came out there and he wrote a masterpiece. This is not even just writing, like if you're writing a new movie, this is writing masterpiece. People to this day, screenwriters to this day will look at this script and be like, this is perfect. It perfectly encapsulates. I don't even know, encapsulates. It could be something like that.
Yeah.
I know, probably English teachers everywhere getting mad at me, but it perfectly encapsulates everything that you need in a sport movie. Triumph, underdog story, defeat, loss. People don't want to see loss in sports movies, but Rocky shows that it's not even about the loss. It's about the mindset. You can switch at any time. It's not about the sport. People get saying, oh, you need this skill. You need this. You do need the skill. You do need that. But what comes first is the heart. And you can say whatever you want. If you're willing to fight for it and you're willing to die for it and you're willing to go the distance, then Rocky's your film, man. Rocky's your film.
I couldn't have said that better myself. That was beautifully put, Marc.
You know it. So now, everybody at home, we've discussed the top 10 genres and the best films in those. But now we are going to make our top, out of those movies, we've listed 20 different movies. Well, 19 considering we have Rocky as a same. But we're going to get the top 5 best from that. So Frankie, this is how we're going to do it. So it's not complicated for anybody at home. What is the best movie out of all the genres that you have? What is the best movie on the list?
That's a tough one. Rocky's up there. Empire Strikes Back is up there, but I have to go The Godfather. I'm wearing the Italy jersey now. Euro Cup on. I think The Godfather is the greatest movie of all time.
Godfather, you can't miss it. You can't miss it on the list. We're going to rank it later, but I say that's definitively on the list. 100% on the list.
Definitely.
Probably going to fight for a top 2 spot. Mine, one that I'm guaranteeing is on, is Rocky. If Rocky's not on the list,
another one.
If Rocky's not on the list, then we're not making the list. Because Rocky, as I said before, we've discussed, Rocky's going to be on the list. Frankie, you go next, and I'll tell you if I'm going to agree with what you're saying here.
Okay, you know what? Believe it or not, I'm actually going to put The Empire Strikes Back. It is a top 5 movie of all time for me, in my opinion. And I think it is. I went into all the reasons why it's great. Greatest plot twist. The bad guy wins, something you've never seen before. I have that at number 3 behind Godfather and Rocky.
All right. I can agree. We'll discuss the ranking in a bit, but I can see why Empire is there. And I'll give it to it because it's such a classic with Star Wars and everything. Which one I'm going to go with for number 4, or just the next one in my ranking to say top 5? Star Wars? Or no, that's Star Wars. Neck me. Scarface?
Scarface is a good one. I can definitely see that up there.
This is where it gets tricky. Now we got to just come together on this because now we have the last 2 spots are the hardest to fill. Do we think Scarface? What do you think, Frankie? Tell me. I'm debating right now between Scarface and Die Hard.
I got Scarface over Die Hard personally. I think it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Al Pacino is legendary in it as Tony Montana. It's so iconic. I put Scarface next for sure.
All right, Scarface it is. Scarface we're putting next. And the last film I think here, it's tough. I want to get a diverse list here though, Frankie. So what do you think of 40-Year-Old Virgin here?
I like that. I like that actually. You know what? It's definitely it's a great one. It's a great comedy. And then this is the hard part about judging movies and making a top 5 greatest movies of all time. Because that's what we were thinking of doing originally. But it's hard because how do you compare genres? How do you compare something like horror that makes you feel so completely one way to something like comedy that makes you feel so completely another way? Yeah. But I think that if you just take it as a movie and how a movie makes you feel, that should be every filmmaker's goal.
Yeah. And these films, every one that we listed, will make you feel a certain type of way. If you watch these 5 films, now people may get mad in the comment sections. Where's No Country for Old Men? Where's Pulp Fiction? Where's Shawshank? But were those the best at the genres that we said? If you look back at this list, where does Pulp Fiction rank in terms of that genre? Where does it beat? Like, sure, Pulp Fiction may be better filmed than Rocky, but is it a better sports movie? Is something better than a comedy-wise 40-Year-Old Virgin? That's where you got to draw the line. And I think that's what we created with this list. And you can say what you want about it, but this is the list. So, Frankie, we're going to rank it completely now. We have 40-Year-Old Virgin, Scarface, Godfather, Empire Strikes Back, and Rocky. We're going to rank it. Number 5, I'm going to go 40-Year-Old Virgin. We were confident.
I agree with that, yeah.
Okay, number 5 is 40-Year-Old Virgin. Number 4, what do you have?
I have Scarface at number 4.
Okay, Scarface, number 4. Number 3, Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, definitely.
And now number 2 and number 1. It's tough here.
This is tough.
It's tough here because I know people will get mad at me for saying this, but I know I would say Rocky, but considering this is a consensus list and thinking of what everybody's saying here, I will concede that Rocky's number 2 and Godfather will be number 1 on the list. What do you think here, Frankie?
I think that's fair. I think there's definitely the argument for Rocky being number 1. It definitely exists, but I think as a movie, I put The Godfather over Rocky, in my personal opinion, and it pains me to say that because I love Rocky.
Look at that. So there you have it, folks. The top 5, the first episode of The Greatest. Number 5, 40-Year-Old Virgin. Number 4, Scarface. Number 3, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Number 2, Rocky. And the greatest film of all time, according to Do I Want to Know? The Godfather.
Awesome. Great list.
Great list. Great. Can't wait for that graphic. That graphic's going to be something else when you put all those movies together.
Definitely. All those movie posters. Come on. It's classic.
But there you have it, folks. Top 5, the greatest. Frank the Tank Iantorno. I love doing this. This was fun, man.
This was really awesome. I loved it. And, I had to rack my brain all day. I was thinking a lot of movies I was debating, a lot of movies that we didn't even mention that are awesome.
Oh, man.
Silence of the Lambs behind me, Shawshank, Forrest Gump. But we're going off genre, and I think that these movies perfectly encapsulate these genres.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Well, if you like our list, you go ahead, give us a like, give us a comment, give us a subscribe. You don't like our list, as we said, Frankie, no dislike. Maybe like it and put your list in the comments. We want to see your lists because I know you're probably at home watching along, making your list. Go Google, watch some films. But I guarantee you, if you watch these 5 films, there'll be no debate that these are the greatest. Thank you, guys. See you next time.